This is Channel 2 News, coverage you can count on.
For all Nevadans, I think we're turning a page. We are going to have a very different system going forward.
It is the final day of the 78th legislative session, and lawmakers have approved a plan that will fund education in the Silver State. Continuing coverage of the 2015 legislature, tops Channel 2 News at 5 o'clock. Well, it took 120 days and every minute in there, but Governor Brian Sandoval's Nevada revenue plan is set to become law. Good evening, everyone. I'm Wendy DeMonte.
I'm Kristen Remington. Glad you can be with us. Well, this bill's passage will allow full funding of the governor's budget. Paul Nelson joins us now live in the legislative building in Carson City. Paul, the clock's ticking. How are things looking down there?
Well, Kristen, lawmakers we talked to say they expect to have everything done before that 1 a.m. deadline. And a big reason for that is because they finally came up with a plan to pay for Governor Sandoval's education reforms. Lawmakers have approved a plan that could increase K-12 revenue by nearly $900 million, part of the governor's $1.1 billion tax increase.
This is the largest investment in public education, coupled with the most sweeping reform in education since 1955.
Senate Bill 483 includes a business license fee increase. Small businesses will pay $200 per year, with corporations paying $500. Companies that gross more than $4 million annually will pay a higher fee on a graduated scale.
You know, as a business owner, I see the impact it's going to have on my business, and I'm willing to make that investment. I don't think, you can look at where taxes are in other states. The sky's not falling. It's not the end of the world.
But not everyone agrees with the bill, comparing it to the margin tax that voters struck down.
80% of the people voted no on the gross receipts tax, and this is no different, really, just under a different name. There's some differences in there, but not enough to make it really a different type of tax.
The bill also makes changes to other existing taxes, including the payroll tax and net proceeds tax on minerals. And the cigarette tax will go from 80 cents a pack to $1.80. Democrats and Republicans agree now is the time for education reform.
We saw that the status quo is no longer acceptable, and we can't just keep failing schools failing, and we can't stay at the bottom of all the good lists.
There's no way I could go home and look at my kids with a good conscience without knowing that I didn't fight as hard as I could to give them a good education.
Many say the governor's plan will address underperformance while preparing kids for the real world.
We're not just spending money wildly, lots of accountability to say we're putting money into education, and now we want to see the needle and achievement moved.
I think we'll look back at this in a few years, in 10 years, and see this as a pivotal moment in Nevada's history.
Sandoval's spending plan is about $7.3 billion, but lawmakers here still don't know exactly how much money they're going to have to work with because some of these taxes are brand new. For instance, the 3% tax on companies like Uber could bring in anywhere from $30 million all the way up to $90 million. Covering the 2015 legislature live, Paul Nelson, Channel 2 News.